It looks like WWE is interested on a certain AEW superstar, and unfortunately it's not CM Punk. This is WrestleRound, bringing you all of today's top 5 wrestling news and rumors. Make sure to have those notifications turned on to always be up to date, and let's get right into it. In a recent live event, we had the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, doing something that we don't get to see it very often nowadays, and that is breaking his heel character. Even in interviews over the last 2 years, he has kept some type of that heel persona. And fun fact, before rolling this clip, by the end of this week, Roman Reigns is actually going to become the longest ever Universal Champion, as he is going to beat Brock Lesnar's record. With that said, monkey in the production, roll it.
Take this time. Hey guys, thank you for coming out. We all know what's going on globally with this pandemic. I just want y'all to just think. I want y'all to be safe. I want you to protect yourselves, and where we can see you next time. Awesome. Good night. Thank you.
There's obviously going to be a lot of talks of surprises as we head into the Royal Rumble, and it looks like 2 more has been revealed for the Women's Rumble, as PW Insider is reporting that Melina and Cameron are booked to be surprises for this year's Women's Royal Rumble matchup. And if we are doing the math correctly, then that means that there is 9 spots left in that match. It is also worth mentioning that according to latest reports, WWE does not want to bring in too many women from NXT this year, so they really want to focus on bringing in more X talent to put more of a surprise factor to it. Melina has actually been booked for the Royal Rumble previously, so she seems to be someone that WWE is gonna keep bringing back, like Trish Stratus, Lita, and so on. Cameron wrestled a match for AEW in 2020 and has since expressed interest in returning to WWE. We got some interesting favorites to win this year's Royal Rumble, but we'll talk about that in a bit. As we just mentioned AEW, there is a specific star there that WWE reportedly wants to sign, and that is Wardlow. Wardlow's stacks continue to rise, and tonight on AEW Dynamite, he will take on CM Punk. WrestleVotes went on to report that WWE has their eye on this matchup, stating the following: with his biggest match today happening later tonight, I can confirm without hesitation that WWE will be extremely interested in luring Wardlow away from AEW when his contract is due. There are several people within WWE that love his potential. As of right now, it is unclear when Wardlow's deal is going to expire, but many AEW wrestlers signed a 3-year deal in 2019, so it is possible that he could become a free agent later this year. Right now, based on storyline and what we have seen on AEW, Wardlow appears to be breaking away from MJF to go on and be a singles babyface competitor, and it is worth mentioning that many in AEW see the potential in him, so it's not like AEW is gonna let him go just like that. With John Cena HBO's Peacemaker series debuting this week, he has been making a lot of media appearances, and in a recent interview, John Cena ended up indicating that unfortunately, it doesn't look like he will be part of this year's WrestleMania, but he did went on to indicate that he is not done with WWE by a long shot, and that we have not seen his last performance yet, because he has more in him. In another interview, he also ended up discussing and sympathizing with talents fired by WWE over the last year. When talking about all of these releases and why he thinks WWE been needing to do all of this, he indicated the following: I was brought up in a biannual cut, and it happened all the time, and I just think WWE went through such a long period of not releasing anybody, and now the company is going back into that rhythm again. That is a very abrupt shift to somebody who's not familiar with that, that, and I do. My heart goes out to everybody who has to get that sad news because that's a tough conversation to have. He also went on to indicate how right now the NXT Performance Center is pretty much stocked up, and it's one of those situations where WWE is at max capacity, with not everybody getting the chance to perform. Professional John Cena, of course, keeping it classic. And last but not least, we are discussing the current two favorites to win this year's Royal Rumble match. On the men's side of things, Big E continues to dominate as the favorite to win it, with a 7-2 odds. Interestingly enough, in second place for the men's Rumble is Brock Lesnar, which anything is possible really. WWE has done stuff like this. Brock Lesnar could lose the WWE Championship on that night and then enter the Royal Rumble match and win it, and that basically sets up Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar on WrestleMania once again. But that is if Big E doesn't get it done, because as we reported, the rumor is that Big E is supposed to win it and go on to WrestleMania to challenge Seth Rollins for the title. How WWE get there is the question, which we already discussed in a previous roundup, so definitely check it out. As for the women's side of things, right now the current favorite to win it is Bianca Belair. She won it last year, so a back-to-back would not be impossible, and since she didn't win the #1 contendership triple threat matchup on Monday Night Raw this past week, alongside Liv Morgan, it's expected that Bianca would join that Rumble match. So that is all the latest wrestling news right now. The winner of the giveaway that we have been running to celebrate the launch of WrestleRound will be revealed in our next video. You got one last chance to enter it by subscribing and leaving a comment on any of our videos. With that said, stay savage, and I'll catch you on the next one.